At 83, Carole King, the legendary singer-songwriter, has lived through a career filled with unforgettable moments, chart-topping hits, and an enduring legacy that has shaped music history. Yet, despite her decades of success, there's one thing that still stirs a fire in her heart: resentment. You see, while the world knows Carole for her beautiful songs like It's Too Late and You've Got a Friend, not everyone knows the behind-the-scenes drama that has been part of her story. Carole is known for being a kind soul, often described as down-to-earth, unpretentious, and always eager to support new talent. But just like any other artist in the ruthless world of music, she's had her fair share of conflicts. What's truly shocking, though, is that, at 83, Carole recently revealed that there are 6 musicians who she simply can't stand. The names she dropped caught everyone by surprise. This isn't just about mild disagreements or creative differences. No, these are some of the most heated, explosive feuds in the music industry. From Betrayal to Broken Trust, her opinions have been formed by years of personal experience. Some of these names are ones you'd never imagine Carole King would ever have a problem with. The first name on the list. The first name Carole mentioned was one that left fans scratching their heads: James Taylor. For many, James and Carole are inseparable. They've been close friends, collaborators, and partners on numerous occasions. But Carole's recent confession sheds light on a darker side of their relationship. Behind the harmonies, there were moments of tension. Carole admitted that James had often taken credit for things he hadn't done. There was a moment during the recording of a song that Carole had written, where James's influence on the final product became something of a point of contention. She felt as if he was getting credit for more than he deserved. In her words, "I was the one who put in the work, but somehow, he always seemed to get the spotlight." It wasn't just about music, it was the way he acted like he was always the bigger name in their collaborations. Carole made it clear, there's no place for inflated egos when you've worked hard for your own reputation. The betrayal of a friend. The second name on Carole's list was someone many fans would never have guessed: her own former bandmate, Gerry Goffin. Goffin was not only Carole's songwriting partner but also her first husband. Together, they wrote hits like Will You Love Me Tomorrow and Up on the Roof, songs that still resonate today. But behind the music, their marriage was troubled. Carole described their relationship as one filled with passion, but also with secrets, betrayal, and deep misunderstandings. Gerry's constant infidelities took a toll on Carole, leaving her heartbroken and feeling trapped in a marriage that was falling apart. Even after their divorce, Carole found it hard to forgive him for the way he treated her, professionally and personally. She revealed that some of the decisions Gerry made during their working relationship were driven by his ego and his own ambitions, rather than a true partnership. For Carole, it wasn't just about the music, it was about how he treated her as a person. A rival's bitter games. Next up was a name that shocked everyone, considering the musical world's reputation for collaboration and mutual respect. Carole named Phil Spector, the iconic and infamous producer, as one of the musicians she despised most. Spector was known for his groundbreaking wall of sound production style, which changed the way music was created. But his relationship with Carole was far from harmonious. Carole worked with Spector in the early stages of her solo career, but the collaboration soon turned sour. She described Spector as manipulative, controlling, and, at times, downright abusive. She recounted an instance during a recording session where Spector tried to impose his vision on Carole, disregarding her own artistic direction. Despite being one of the most successful producers of the era, Spector's treatment of artists, including Carole, left a bitter taste that Carole could never forget. Carole revealed that Spector was also known for playing mind games with musicians, pitting them against each other, creating unnecessary drama, and ultimately ruining many promising careers. His toxic presence left Carole with a deep sense of disdain. A backstabber's deeds. As Carole continued with her revelations, another name dropped that was almost as jaw-dropping as the others. This time, she called out another famous figure, David Crosby. The member of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young had a reputation for speaking his mind, but Carole had a different story to tell. Though Carole had collaborated with Crosby in the past, their relationship took a nasty turn when Crosby allegedly took credit for a musical idea that wasn't his. It wasn't the first time Carole had encountered someone trying to steal her ideas, but with Crosby, she had trusted him. That trust, unfortunately, was broken. Carole didn't mince words, admitting that Crosby's egotistical attitude and manipulative nature left her feeling betrayed. She was disappointed not just as a musician, but as a person who believed in the power of honesty and integrity. Crosby's actions taught Carole that sometimes, the people closest to you can be the ones who hurt you the most. But the last name Carole King revealed truly stunned everyone. It was none other than the legendary Bob Dylan. The man who had changed the landscape of music forever, who was known as a voice of a generation, had apparently rubbed Carole the wrong way in a major way. Carole worked with Bob Dylan in the 1970s, and while their professional relationship had some moments of brilliance, it was also marked by tension. Carole confessed that Dylan often took a very dismissive attitude toward her work and ideas, something that was hard for her to overlook. She explained that during their collaborations, Dylan showed very little respect for her input, and instead, treated her as just another musician in the room. His dismissiveness didn't sit well with Carole, who had spent years building a reputation as one of the most respected songwriters of her time. For Carole, this wasn't just a matter of artistic differences, it was about being treated as an equal. By the time she reached 83, Carole King had learned that the music industry wasn't just about creating beautiful songs. It was about navigating betrayal, ego clashes, and hurt feelings, things that everyone in the business faces at some point. As Carole reflects on the 6 musicians she's had the most tension with, she doesn't express anger or hatred. Instead, she has grown wiser, knowing that all these experiences have shaped her into the artist and person she is today. In her own words, music is about connection, but sometimes you have to step away from toxic connections to keep your own peace. Her story is a reminder that even legends have their struggles, and that behind every great success lies a story of overcoming adversity, betrayal, and pain. At 83, Carole King's career is still far from over, and the lessons she's learned over the years have only made her stronger, more authentic, and more capable of creating music that speaks to the soul. The music world is filled with its highs and lows, and Carole King's story is proof that even the greatest must face their challenges. But through it all, she's never lost her passion for making music that touches hearts, no matter who she had to walk away from along the way.